Hey everyone, here I am. I am so excited. So I just finished the first part of my onboarding process. And I'm so excited, you all. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. For some, this may not be a big deal. Like for some, you may just say, hey, it's a job, right? But if you understand how this started and the purpose in which it was started, then you'd understand, right? Many of you know that I spent almost 10 years working in law enforcement. Right after college, I worked in at a car dealership. I worked in the finance department. And then I got a new manager, and the manager that they hired, Chuck, the manager that they hired was very racist. And as a young person, I mean, we're talking a 20-something-year-old. This is new to me. I've never experienced racism like that before, and it was shocking. It was, I'm not going to go into that because I'm not going to taint this moment, but it was very shocking. I had never experienced racism on that level before. And so I put in a letter of resignation and for 2 weeks. And he took the letter of resignation, tore it up in my face, threw it on the floor, and told me to leave now. And this was after weeks of him tormenting me and taunting me. Things like taking my desk chair and taking my desk and taking my computer, and I mean, just you name it. It was rough. And so I ended up at the sheriff's department. And so I worked as a deputy sheriff, and in the beginning it was great. I really loved it. It was, in a way it was easy work, right? No big deal. But then, working in lockup, it tends to do something to you when you have a conscience, right? Here I am working in lockup in a community that I grew up with, and I'm seeing people that I grew up with. And it was a very harsh reality to see people that I knew, people that I went to school with, people that I interacted with in the community, people that I saw going back and forth to the grocery store, to see these individuals and know who these people were before they ended up in that system. It bothered me because I'm thinking to myself, what happened that would put you here? And so one day, as I'm sitting at the desk in lockup, literally dozing off, I decided, let me get up before I before I literally get myself fired, right? Let me wake up, let me walk around, let me shake this off, right? And for those of you who talk about cops with coffee and donuts, trust me, it is a real thing, and I understand why, because a lot of the job is just sitting and you get tired. And so that coffee is your caffeine jolt. The donut is your sugar jolt, right? So coffee and donuts is a real thing. And it's a must-have if you're working in law enforcement, or you will find yourself dozing off, especially if you're working inside, because you are literally sitting and you are being hypnotized by the cold air coming from the AC vents and the humming, which is very hypnotic. And so you're sleepy, right? But anyway, for any of you all who wondered why the coffee and donuts, that's why that happens. I'm trying to get this sun out the way. And so I spent that time working at the sheriff's department as a deputy sheriff. And I don't know why is it every time I come on, someone sends me a text message. So after working lockup for a while, I decided, like, this is not the life that I want. You know, I didn't want to retire from a job knowing that I literally turned the key on people in my community every single day for a check. I felt like I was throwing away not just those people, but I was throwing away their families. I was throwing away what they can contribute to the community. I was throwing away the community that I say that I loved. And so it weighed very heavy on me, so heavy to a point where it got to a point where I couldn't sleep. It was interrupting my day to day. And so eventually I walked in. Well, I was in my home office because I was I think I was in school at that time for my let me see. I believe I was in school at that time for my MBA. And so I was doing some homework, and I was actually on leave for a minute. I was on medical leave, but I was doing some homework, and I was just sitting there and I was listening to music, and my screensaver popped on, and my screensaver said, "Walk by faith." And I don't know what took, I mean, that one screensaver was a field of flowers. I think there were tulips and multicolors, and it said at the bottom, "Walk by faith." And I got up, I grabbed a box, and I went to where I worked, and I emptied I took out my personal belongings from my locker, which weren't much, because it wasn't really much to leave there. But I took out my personal belongings, but then I also gave them everything. I gave them my badge, 4227. I gave them my badge. I gave them my hat badge. I gave them the badge that we wear on our clothes. I can't remember. There was something else that I had to turn in, my ID and something else. And I just said, I quit. And my sergeant was like, well, you can't quit. You have to take this downtown. And I said, no, the chain of command says that I have to give, report to my immediate superior. And my immediate superior is you. You take it downtown. And I turned in my badge, my hat badge, and my ID, and I walked away. Locked up my duty weapon in a box and never looked back. And I made a decision then that I was never going to lock away Black and brown bodies ever again. And so actually what kind of led me to that, like I said, is not only I sat there and was kind of just disturbed by the fact that the people that I saw in lockup were actually people I grew up with, people I saw in my community every day. But also, I started asking people questions because I'm like, I need to find a way to stay awake. So I started asking questions like, what brought you here? How did you get here? Like, I know you. Like, how did you get here? Like, we went to grade school together. We went to high school together. We lived next door to each other. Whatever the case may be. Like, how did you get here? And so many of them would start to tell me the crimes they committed or what they were accused of. Always the lawyer screwed them, right? And I was like, no, I'm looking for deeper than that. Like, what made you, how did you get here? Because I don't know of any children that say, when I grow up, I want to be a murderer, or when I grow up, I want to be a robber or a home invader or any of those things. So how did you get here? I want that story. And so people were sharing stuff with me that just blew my mind, things that made me just kind of look at young Black men differently. And I remember and forgive me, but I can just really think back to that moment. And I remember this one young man, and he wasn't even a young man. He was probably older than I was. But he said, I always wanted to go to college. And I said, well, why didn't you? He says, well, my father died. My mother lost her job because she was depressed. She started drinking. Eventually, we lost our house. And he said, I just had to do something. He said, it's because I had little brothers and sisters. And so I just took to the streets. And I did whatever I felt I could do so that my siblings could eat. I said, well, if you had the opportunity to go to college today, what would you do? And he says, I always wanted to be an engineer. He says, I don't know why, but I just always wanted to be an engineer. And I said, well, what's stopping you? And he just sat there and he looked at me and he says, I can't think of one thing. And that just really stuck with me. And I had to ask myself, what kind of person am I to turn this key and slam that gate on people every single day, despite what they've done, whether they're guilty or innocent? What part am I playing when I turn that key on black bodies every single day? How could I sleep soundly knowing that I contributed to the same justice system that has no justice for people who look like me? So May 9th, 2000, I walked away from that job. I went in with a box. I took my belongings. I turned in my badge and I walked away with my head held high. Didn't know what I was going to do. Didn't have a job to fall back on. Had no clue that for the next 4 years, I would be unemployed. Now remember, I worked in finance and accounting before I became a deputy sheriff. So when I left that job, when I left the sheriff's department, I went back to trying to work in finance and accounting. And people literally told me to my face, what can you offer us? You are a careered law enforcement officer. And I'm like, but no, I have a background in accounting. No, you are a career law enforcement officer. And it hit me like I was typecast. Like, you a cop. To this day, I actually have people who would say to me, you carry yourself like you law. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, it's just how you carry yourself. And I never knew that there was a way you looked or a way you carried yourself. But I am very blunt when I talk. I'm very, like, here's what it is. Like, what you want me to do? Lie to you? I'm not, if you want cherries on ice cream, that ain't me. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm not trying to hurt a person's feeling, but it is what it is. Figure it out. Work with it. Deal with it. Like, that's your problem, not mine, right? But, for 4 years, literally 4 years, I did not have a job. Let me put it this way. I did not work in my career. Let me put it that way. For 4 years, I worked at places like UPS. I got hired to work in their finance department, but they believe everybody started at the bottom. So I threw packages at UPS. I worked at a Harold's Chicken. I had to do whatever I could to feed my child. I had my daughter at the time and I was a divorcee. And, so I had to do, it even got to a point where I sold dinners out of my house just to pay my mortgage. You know what I'm saying? So when you have somebody to tell you that you're not worthy, or I don't know what your qualifications are. Oh, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I worked hard for this. I struggle for this. This is not just me wanting to teach the world about numbers. This is about me seeing black and brown bodies behind bars who didn't have a chance because of lack of financial resources. All I could ever think about is that one guy saying that his father died and his mother went into depression and, started drinking and lost this and lost. All I can think of is, what if they had insurance? What if they had somebody to help the mom overcome her depression? What if she had somebody that could tell her, this is not the end of the world. Let me show you how you can get out of this rut. What if I had somebody who could tell her that would her son, would her baby boy be behind bars? And so I decided at that moment, God downloaded into me at that moment, this was not my purpose for you. I need you to free my people, and I need you to teach them how to survive financially in this world. That was my mission. That was my mission. That was my mission. And to have people that you support all the time tell you that they're not going to use your business because they don't know nothing about you. Well, have you looked me up? I'm not new to this. I graduated college in 1990. I've been doing accounting and finance since 1990, with an exception of the, 8.5, 9 years, whatever it was, almost 10 years working in law enforcement. And even then, I did taxes. I did taxes on the regular. I started doing taxes at 16. I did taxes in high school because that was something my grandfather taught me. So to have somebody tell you that, oh, well, I don't know about you. Oh, what, these degrees is a joke? Like, I have 2 of them. A master's in business administration, a master's in accounting and financial management. I got honor roll, credentials. I've got this, I've got that, but I don't feel I have to prove myself that way, because people who don't look like me, when I sit in front of people who look like me, they want to challenge my intelligence. But when I used to have a white manager, and if I took my white manager with me, all of a sudden I'm approved. Think about that. Black people don't want to work with black people. They'll work with a white person. They'll allow someone non-black to sit with them and work with them with their money, help them invest, help them get out of debt, and all of these things. They'll work with somebody who is non-black without a shadow of a doubt, and not once question their integrity, not once question their educational background. They don't have to do flips. All you have to do is be palm colored, and baby, they sitting down and give you their socials, they everything. If I asked you, it's pulling teeth. Oh, well, where'd you go to school? Oh, how long you been doing this? Well, oh, I don't give everybody my social. Well, I don't. Okay. And that's why you broke. Because white guys these days, they're not trying to mess with black people. You know why? In their eyes, you ain't got no money. They don't care where you work. They don't care how many figures you got. You broke. You don't have no money. Trust me. I work with white people. And I'm not being racist. I'm not being unfair. I'm telling you what I've seen in the financial services industry. Most white people do not want to work with black skin. You're a waste of time. You don't have enough money to increase their bottom line, because we get paid by commission. So that leaves me. But me, you want me to qualify. You need validation. You need my passport. You want my mama's maiden name. You want to know my shoe size. You want to know if I understand what 2 + 2 + 5 is. It's like, are you serious right now? What did you think I was coming to do? Rob you? It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's okay. I've fought hard for this. I've worked. I've pushed. I didn't give up, even when I wanted to. Even that day when my friend was like, "Oh, so you're just gonna give up? You're not gonna keep trying?" I'm like, "Man, look, I've been doing this too many years. I'm not gonna keep doing this," and I did it anyway. And so here I am. Finally, I walk in the door. And I wish I could have kept you guys on camera, but I couldn't. I walk in the door, and I just got this huge smile on my face, like a big Kool-Aid smile. And security asked me, he says, "Are you a student, or is this your first day?" I said, "It's my first day." And he says, "Well, welcome, professor." And I just froze. It's like, oh my God, this man just called me professor. He just called me professor. So, I am excited to say that I am now, I don't know if I'm supposed to be showing all this, but I am now an official employee of the City Colleges of Chicago. I'm so excited. And Olive Harvey has a brand new entrepreneurship hub, and I'm hoping that I can impact our young people and our young adults. I hope that I can impact our community and help some of our young people in the community start businesses and help revitalize my community. You know, there were so many of us. And when you look around in my neighborhood now, I don't see many people I grew up with. They left. And when they left the door open. They left the door open to trash and to gangs and to disrespect and to people who don't care about us or our community. They allowed the community to go downhill, and there's vacant lots and boarded up abandoned houses, and I'm still here. I never ever left. I've been here. I have been dedicated to this community for 53 years of my life. So much so that I have even invested into someone else's business. And I'll share that hopefully in the next few months, because we're still working on that. But I've invested in someone else's business who is looking to bring, in this first phase, probably 10 jobs to the Roseland community. Once the project is finished, I think they are hoping to bring 50 or more opportunities to individuals as employees, small business owners. We're creating. Well, I'm not going to go into detail. I'm not going to tell you. But I invested. And I mean, I invested good money. I worked hard. He came with a proposal. I met him through someone. He came with a proposal, and he showed me the vision. It's in the heart of Roseland. Not even a mile down the street from where I grew up. And I told him immediately, I'm all in. Here's my check. And so I am looking forward to that opening, to that grand opening, to that launching. I'm so excited for that. And oh my God, I'm excited to see my name on the building plaque for opening founder. That's gonna be dope. And I just hope I'm able to channel some of the students that I work with over to that facility and allow them to start their dream and their passion. This facility has, I believe, I think a 30 seat conference room, where we'll be also allowing individuals to teach classes and have seminars and things like that. I'm in the process of possibly doing, and I say possibly because there's some things we're trying to work out, but I will possibly be doing a kids summer camp, kids cash camp, this June in that location. But again, it really depends on if we get certain things finalized at this building. But I mean, there is just so much happening, and I just thank God for friends. I just really thank God for friends who just kept pushing me and told me, don't give up, just be patient, don't give up. I'm like, man, it's been 24 years already. Like, right when I was ready to jump real hard on some stuff in 2019, we had COVID and it shut me down. Because I had just started my own insurance agency and it shut me down. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I do? And so there's so many hits that I've taken in the last 25 years. So many hits. But I'm glad that I finally continued. And the one thing that I have been pushing for since the day I left the sheriff's department, I finally made it. And so, and it's right down the street from the jail, the courthouse that I worked at 25 years ago. Literally right down the street. Literally. So, from jail cells to college halls, I'm here. And so I just hope that I can impart wisdom and knowledge in more young people than I turn the key on. And so I'm excited. I'm excited. And I am just so glad that I can take you all on this journey with me. So thank you for listening to my TED Talk. I am so very emotional right now. And like I say in the Grammys, I'm finna go hug my mama. Because I'm so excited, y'all. Oh my God. I'm so excited. Yeah. So I shall talk to you all later, and I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted with all the great things that are happening. And yes, I still sell insurance. And if you don't have it, you best call me. Take care and have an amazing day. I love you. And now I can't get y'all off my phone. Hey, let me see. Let me look at some comments right quick. Let me see. Who all on here? Thank you, Miss Kim. Thank you. I love you. Thank you, Margot. Let me see. Who else is on here? Hey, Brianna. Okay. All right, y'all. Gotta go. I will talk. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, Michelle. Oh, my God. I miss all of these. Thank you so much, you all. I appreciate you. I'm so excited. I'm serious. I'm gonna go see my mama. I'm gonna go hug my mama because I'm just so excited right now. I'm gonna go show off my brand new ID and my parking pass, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Take care.